YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. The Green Bay Packers record prediction is today. We are going through every single NFL team. Don't you worry. We're on the NFC North, obviously. We've done a bunch of teams. There's a playlist link down in the description in the comments. I'm extra hyper today, so don't know why. Maybe it's because 50K right around the corner. We're right there. Please subscribe to both of our channels. Follow that Twitter. You're going to want to follow that Twitter. A lot going on there. And I'm going to post a poll once I'm done with the division. So once I get through the Packers and Vikings here, post a poll. Who will win the NFC North? You guys vote. You guys are going to create a future video. You're going to create the playoff spots and then on. So pretty cool there. Appreciate everyone's support. We're right about 50K, like I just said. So couldn't have done it without you guys. So really appreciate it. We're going to continue to grind here. We got our podcast. Really enjoy making that something new. We're going to keep adding content to the Goat House here. Spotify, Apple, links down below. Playoffpredictors.com is the name of the website I make these record predictions on. Very cool. I want you guys to go, if you're a Packers fan or not, go over there, make your predictions, come back to the comments, let me know who you had winning each game. Everyone's got different ones. It's cool to compare. There's really no right or wrong answer. I mean, somebody's going to be right, somebody's probably going to be wrong in the end, but it's all pretty early predictions at this point. The Green Bay Packers, a team I'm kind of back and forth on because can they repeat last year? Can they make it back to the NFC Championship game? Every team has to get better. I felt like they didn't really get better in the offseason, but how could you argue that? I can kind of argue both sides here. Why do you argue that? A lot of new faces on that defense last year. A lot of new faces, a lot of young players, especially in the secondary. New faces at the pass rush position, and clicking on all cylinders for the most part. The new guys in year one, which is rare. So what are they going to be like in year two? Could they just continue to build? So that's a little scary. The Packers defense really could step up. Yeah, they needed more help at middle linebacker. Didn't really get that. Yeah, they needed help next to Kenny Clark. They didn't really get that. So that's kind of the concern. They couldn't stop the run against the Niners. So I guess that's somewhat of the concern there. Mainly because of that D-line, the inside linebacker unit. But the pass rush to Smith Bros, huge Darius Smith fan. I think those guys continue to get better. Jair Alexander, been a huge fan of his since Louisville, early years at Louisville. I think Kevin King was somewhat underrated last year, too. And then you had a rookie, Darnell Savage, with a first-year former Bear, Adrian Amos, playing together. So, there's a lot of upside there. The offense kind of let everyone down last year, but at the same time was still pretty good. Just kind of, you expected a little more. Maybe to take that next extra step to make the Super Bowl. So you can argue both sides again. No more Balaga, which is a key to rolling Rodgers out. Rick Wagner instead, who's been struggling. The offensive line's really not getting better. Yeah, you have a young Elgton Jenkins in there, but it's not really getting better. Rodgers can't be really getting better. So that's kind of that side of it. The other side is Aaron Jones is getting going. He's just getting going. Devontae Adams they missed for quite a few games last year, so he could get going even more with this LaFleur offense. Aaron Rodgers was good, but a little off. Imagine if he kind of gets back going. So you can argue both sides here. You can definitely argue both sides. LaFleur more of a scripter, which definitely worked out at times. Can teams start to figure out? So there's a lot of questions with the Packers. Obviously, still a pretty good team. Enough talk. Let's get to the predictions. Packers, Vikings, Week 1. This was a great schedule, Week 1, scheduling for the Packers here because the Packers pretty much the same team as last year, an NFC champion style team. They got there. The Vikings got, good team. They're always a pretty solid team. They got some new faces, though, so it is good to play them in Minnesota Week 1 when you're probably more prepared. I like the Packers, even in Minnesota, a tough place to play in Week 1. Home against Detroit, Week 2. I definitely like the Packers home against Detroit. The bad thing is, the downside maybe, the Lions are pretty good early in the year. Every year they beat some good teams. They look good early, and they end up being bad, and that kind of programs in everyone's mind that the Lions aren't good. And how do they win early on? Well, people are forgetting they're actually pretty good early because that's when they're consistent, that's when they're fresh, that's when they're healthy. So the Lions could be sneaky there in Week 2. Packers, Saints, Rodgers, Breeze. The winner's not necessarily one who's better, but it's just always interesting to see Rodgers versus Breeze, a matchup like that. I like the Saints at home here, and the Saints are the more complete team probably. And they're at home here early on. This is a Sunday night game. Saints are really good primetime regular season, especially at home. Falcons, Packers, Monday night. Love that one for the Packers. I just don't see them losing a game like that. Bye week, Week 5, maybe a little early. Yeah, you wish it was more It's not something that's going to affect them. I don't think. You wish it was more like 7, 8. Then the Buccaneers got to go to Tampa. Maybe Tampa starting to heat up. They're getting used to the adjustments, the new faces, the big-time players, even on defense. Kind of goes unnoticed. Like the Buccaneers here. This is a pretty good game. Packers, Texans team. Two teams that, yeah, playoff contenders. They got some juice. You got the Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. They got some juice on their team. They got some power. Big playability here. But two teams that you felt like needed to add just a few extra good pieces to take that next step. Maybe go to the Super Bowl. And neither of them did that. They both kind of felt like they went a little bit backwards, to be honest. Just a little bit. In terms of the offseason plan. So they're both in the same boat. I think this is a shootout type game. I do like the Packers defense, but I think that this is a matchup. Watson's going to score points on this team still, even if it's a really good defense, even if it's top 10, top 5 defense. For the matchup, home shootout, I'm going to take Deshaun Watson here. Even when the Texans offense is struggling, they're still putting up points. When the Packers are going to score a lot of points in this game, but there's times where it's hard to trust them offensively last year. But I do think Rodgers probably plays a better year. But I'm going to take the Texans. I like the matchup at home. If it was in Green Bay, maybe the other way. I got the Packers sweeping the Vikings. I think this is the way this is laid out. Most people would probably say the Vikings are favorites at home because they're a good team, tough place to play. The Packers are probably favored at home because it's a good team, tough place to play. I guess the good news for the Vikings here, you don't play them down here where it's absolutely freezing out, where you're definitely going to lose. But I do have the Packers sweeping. I just like the layout for the Packers there. That pass rush seems to be, Zadarius Smith just gets in their head because the Vikings aren't a good offensive line as it is, and Zadarius Smith's a guy you have to make adjustments at the line for that really don't work because he'll kind of change what he does last second. That's why he's so underrated. He does more than just rush the passer. He does so much more. Packers at Niners. I hate kind of basing things off the year before, but you almost have to. It's just a bad matchup. The Niners are really in the Packers' head here. They're home on Thursday night. So once again, the Green Bay Packers got to go to San Francisco in a huge game. You got to go with the Niners there over the Jags for the Packers. Packers Colts is a tough one too. And I'll circle back and do best case scenario. Man, I can't believe we're sitting at 5-4. The Packers are better than a 5-4 team here. It's a tough. They won the division last year. It's a first place schedule. Packers at Colts. This is a tough one too because I think this is gonna be another shootout type game, and this one's in Indianapolis. I don't really like the way the Packers match up with these AFC South teams, really, and I think that this is about the time where Phillip Rivers is really going to start. The Colts in general are really going to start heating it up. They're going to run the ball. They're going to throw the ball to their running backs in the backfield, downfield. I just like the matchup for the Colts in this one, especially at home. I think the matchup definitely favors them, and that could change when we're in the season. They'll beat the Bears, in Green Bay. Last year, we saw them fall to the Eagles. Nobody was really expecting it. The Eagles were really struggling. The Packers were thriving because it was a matchup. It was a matchup reason. I remember at the time, I was picking the Eagles because the matchup. And they get revenge in this one, though. I think the Packers win this one. They're changing some things a little bit. They brought in some different style players. I think they're gonna, in a game like this, I think it's gonna be run the ball, pound the ball, use our whole group of running backs. They got a pretty good group there. And then up to halftime, let's keep the game close. We're gonna wear this Eagles defense down, which can be worn down. We've seen in the past, and they're gonna air the ball out. I think for going forward, I think the matchup in favor of the Green Bay Packers, especially in Lambeau, and that's a late afternoon game. Oh yeah. They're gonna beat the Lions twice, I think. Again, tough schedule. At Saints, at Bucks, at Texans, at Niners, at Colts. Those are tough ones because some of these I'm picking because where the game's at. That's just how it works. Colts, Texans, maybe. I really like the way the Colts match up on them. Just the Texans game mainly. That's tough. But the draw they got with where things are scheduled, like the Vikings, I got them beating twice because I explained it. Where they're playing them, they play home against the Lions. Could be good here, but in Green Bay. Packers are the favorites, and you're playing the Lions again down here in Detroit, where maybe if the Lions are a good team, they're the favorites, but late in the year where the Lions are struggling, Packers are going to beat them twice, I believe, here. They're going to beat the Panthers this Sunday night. Oh, yeah, this will be a good one. This is Titans, Packers. You don't want to play the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, in Lambeau, Week 16, freezing cold at night, Sunday night. So, yeah, that points in the direction of the Packers. Oh, it's a tough one. But the Titans, cold football. Who can pound the ball better? Derrick Henry and the Titans. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm deciding in my head right now. This could be a really good game. I just think And I was kind of thinking ahead, what if, remember last year, I was kind of thinking, what if it was Titans-Packers matchup? I was kind of fearing that for the Packers. I thought it was just a terrible matchup. That's going to be a Miami Super Bowl. I got to go to the Packers. I got to go to the Packers in a big game, night game, prime time, in the freezing cold, because I think the Titans are going to pound the ball very well. They're going to have to do more than that, though. They're going to, in green, they're going to have to do more. I trust Tannehill. Pretty impressive last year. Can they do more here? Can they throw the ball downfield? I think they're going to need that little extra. This team meets in a neutral, not neutral site, but and I guess, yeah, if they met again, it would be in a neutral site, I suppose. And I'd probably go Titans, honestly. Packers, Bears. Gosh, it's tough. I think they split. I'm a little higher on the Bears than most. It depends. If Nick Foles is playing this game, he could be hurt. If he's not playing, I'm picking the Packers. It's hard to predict people to be hurt. And the Bears, I think they split. I don't know if they're going to sweep the NFC North. I almost had it. 10-6 is where I got them. Kind of back and forth, but what I like is, and I'll circle back and do best and worst case scenario, but what I like is Rodgers. I don't really think he plays worse than last year. I think he probably plays better, and that's fantastic. The only thing is he doesn't have Bulaga there. And in the defense, I mean, how many new faces were on that defense last year, and they clicked right away? What can they do in year two? So that's the good thing there. So best case, we kind of concern. Remember, I did have them sweeping the Vikings and the Lions. They could win this. I like the way the Colts kind of match up on them. It's going to be a similar like Niners type matchup, I think. But they don't have the defense of the Niners. They could. They got DeForest Buckner in there now, some young studs that can step up. I'm kind of keeping that. I think best case about 12-4. I say that's about best case there. They really could win. So, the Saints game. I'm a big Zadarius Smith fan. I think that's a guy that can kind of get in the head of it's kind of a new school type pass rusher, something that Drew Brees is not used to. We've seen him under pressure in a playoff game last year. It didn't really work out too well, so it's a game that could go either way. I'm going to go around 12-4 as best case, which is definitely realistic. This one is the toss-up because you don't know who's going to be healthy, so I had that, and I had another toss-up here, but the shootout, I'm going to go Texans. So around 10-6, worst case, maybe if LaFleur's offense, it's kind of one of those offenses you got scripted, they can figure it out. Maybe they can lose this game here in week one since it's in Minnesota. Maybe it's a bad matchup again with the Eagles and the Titans. So 7-9 is bottom line. I just don't, you could, like I talked about, Foles could be here. I guess Rodgers could be too. We've seen a couple years out of the past it happened. I just don't see it though. It's hard to predict that. So I think that's like bottom line. Man, am I looking for these last 2 weeks? Oh, man, that's going to be fun football. Titans, Packers, primetime. Packers, Bears, Week 17 playoffs on the line here. Kind of going back to what I had here. I had 9, and I had where was it? We had the Packers over the Eagles, 10-6, 8-0 at home. I guess that's a tough place to play, especially games down here. Kidding me? So far I've done every team but the Vikings so far. We have the Bears and the Packers at 10-6. So that, sweeping the Vikings, the Lions could definitely help in that run. Let me know your guys' thoughts, though. Definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts. Please click that like button. Check out both of our channels. Follow us on Twitter. That's an absolute must, in my opinion. If you like NFL, if you like the Goat House, got to do it. Would really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.